Hey everyone, today I'm going to be talking about why platform engineering requires a product management mindset to be successful. Quick introduction, my name is Ganesh, I'm one of the co-founders and CTO at Cortex, where we build an internal developer portal focused on helping organizations drive engineering excellence. As platform engineering has gotten more popular and is the foundation of many engineering organization strategies, really bringing a product management mindset, I think, is critical for driving success for platform engineering. And today's talk will be talking about kind of concrete examples of how to do that and how to think about product management when it comes to platform engineering. First, let's define what product management actually is, because that's a great place to start to understand why it applies to platform engineering in the first place. The goal of product management is to solve customer needs in service of business outcomes. If you break this down, any business is trying to drive some sort of needle within their organization, right? It could be something as simple as revenue, but usually it's something a bit more focused than that. Like, for example, you may be at a social media company trying to increase the amount of posts somebody does or how long somebody spends on the newsfeed in order to drive revenue. And in order to do that, you need to solve customer needs, right? As a business, that's what you're doing. You're solving your customer needs in service of the outcomes that you're trying to drive as your own business. And that is what product management does, right? They understand the end user, they understand the needle movers for their business that they're working for, and they bring those things closer together. So by delivering value to the customer, they're also driving business outcomes internally. And so that's what product management is at its core. Now let's talk about how this applies to platform engineering. Now, who is the customer for the platform engineer? The platform engineering team's customers generally tend to be developers, SRE teams, security teams, and so on. The business is the organization that the platform engineering team is a part of. It's an internal group. And so let's start by defining what the business outcomes are, how platform engineering teams enable them, and go from there. So the business outcomes that we care about as a platform engineering organization, we generally tend to break up into these three things. Like when our engineering team is investing in their platform capabilities, the outcomes they're trying to drive are trying to move faster, right? As an organization, we want to innovate more. We want to reduce how long it takes to get things to the market. We may be trying to improve our cost and efficiency or deliver a better customer experience. These tend to be the business outcomes that we care about as an organization. Now, what is the way we enable those? This tends to be engineering excellence initiatives. How do we build a culture of excellence and invest in the right areas as an engineering organization in order to drive the business outcomes that we care about? Now let's break that up into a little bit more detail. Engineering excellence tends to be broken up into reliability initiatives, security initiatives, efficiency initiatives, and velocity initiatives. Now, all of these things may not look like platform engineering initiatives at the core, but they are, and we'll talk about why that is. Now, this is probably self-explanatory given the conference that we're at, but who owns these foundations, right? Is there a single tool, team, platform that can drive all of these initiatives together? It sounds like multiple disparate tools and teams, right? Reliability is owned by SRE, security is owned by security, and so on. But is there an answer as to who kind of owns the foundation for all these different initiatives? And the answer is yes. The answer is platform engineering. Platform engineering teams own the developer experience. They own creating the systems that drive continuous improvement. They own driving visibility and ownership and accountability across the organization. And they own the platform foundations that enable all of these things. So now we've really thought about, okay, what are the business outcomes we care about? As a North Star metric, what are the things that we're trying to move? What are the initiatives that we see in the organization that drive those needles? And finally, what is the foundation of this, which is platform engineering? Now let's dive into the nitty-gritty of what this actually means as a platform engineer. Think about platform engineering. I'm sure there's tons of definitions out there, but for the sake of this talk, I want to break it up into these three areas, right? You have kind of traditional DevOps practices, bringing tooling and infrastructure and making it easy for developers to operate their systems. We have developer experience, which is how do we take the capabilities we're building and deliver those in a seamless way to our end users. And you have product management, which is, are we delivering the right experience to our end users? Are we moving the needle? Are we driving the business forward in different ways? And platform engineering kind of sits at the intersection of all this, which is why I think it has become such an important part of engineering strategy, because it brings together a ton of key functions and skill sets into a single role and a single set of capabilities. Let's talk about like the pre-mortem, right? When does product management fail? What are some common missteps in product management? Some things that we see a lot in product management: you assume what the end user needs, You haven't talked to them, you haven't done any research, you don't understand their use cases, you just assume you know the user best, and this tends to be a problem. Even for the world's best product managers, even if they're making assumptions, the whole thing about, did people want a faster horse or a car? Well, they wanted to get places faster. That is what the user wants. And so that doesn't mean you can't innovate, but the product manager should understand deeply what the user needs. Another failure mode of product management is losing sight of business outcomes, like building cool things for the sake of cool things, or like solving interesting product problems, but not tying it back to the business outcome. So everything that we build as a product organization should be moving the needle for the business in some way, shape, or form. Another common thing, and this is particular for platform engineering, but even in terms of product management, if you focus on just one end user instead of all the personas that consume your product, this is a very common failure mode, right? You think about marketplace businesses, right? Something like an Airbnb. You can't solve just for the person that's booking the Airbnb, right? You also need to solve for the supply side or the hosts. And we see this in a lot of different tools. When you think about a classic system of record, like a CRM, right? You can't just solve for the AE or just the VP of sales. You need to solve for all of them. And so focusing on just a single user means you may not be creating the right feedback loops within your product as well. And then finally, a very common failure mode is trying to build everything instead of delivering incremental value. You say like, oh, the user definitely needs this one thing, and so we're just going to go build the entire thing all at once, rather than iterating and trying to create the right value for the end user and figuring out what additional value you can produce for them. So this is a very, very common failure mode for product management. So now let's shift gears into going from, okay, what is the failure mode of product management to how this connects to platform as a product. So how do we avoid those failure modes? Well, first of all, I think it is very, very important that we don't build automation and self-service capabilities just for the sake of it, right? We think about sometimes like if you build it, they will come, and that is absolutely not true. You want to build automation and self-service that solves for a specific need, a specific use case. What is a bottleneck that is slowing down your business or preventing you from delivering those business outcomes or those engineering excellence initiatives? While you were thinking about self-service, is security something that the company really cares about right now? And if so, how do you bake that into the self-service and automation that you're building? The second thing is making sure that you work very closely with cross-functional partners like SRE and security, right? These are also teams who, similar to platform engineers, have a very low ratio of their core team to the broader engineering community, right? You think about platform engineering, security, SRE, it's like maybe a 1-to-10 ratio at best. And so it's a very much influence-driven, adoption-driven culture. And so the more you can work closely with other central teams like SRE and security, the more successful you're going to be in terms of driving the product value. Deliver incremental value. You don't have to build the entire platform to start, right? Build incremental capabilities and deliver those to your end users, get feedback, iterate on it very quickly. It's not just a platform, right? The platform is not one ginormous thing. It's a collection of best of breed tools. Your CI, your infrastructure as code, your automation, all these things are different capabilities. And like in our head of platform engineers, we may think, hey, this is the platform as a whole that we're delivering to our end users. But really, those are different core capabilities. It's a collection of tools and capabilities that create value when they come together. And so you can think about that as a way to break down the incremental value you can deliver to your end users. Let's talk about some very concrete examples of how you can bring all this together. Specifically, thinking about business outcome related thinking and how you work with those stakeholders. So let's talk about reliability and SRE, right? Reliability, SRE teams, what do they care about? They care about delivering a more reliable customer experience, as the name implies. And so how, as a platform engineering team, can you work with your stakeholders to drive that? Well, first think about the business outcome. The business outcome that the company cares about, the engineering organization cares about, is an improved customer experience. Whether it's to meet your SLAs, whether it's because you're an e-commerce company and Black Friday is a huge driver of your revenue. There's some reason why reliability really matters to the business. Okay, well, that's an interesting thing for me as a platform engineer, because I can say, hey, I'm going to invest in capabilities that are going to drive that business outcome. Okay, well, one of the pillars of engineering excellence then is reliability. So when we go work with a reliability team, what are some things that we can do as a platform engineering team to drive that? Well, as we're building those self-service workflows and our platform capabilities, let's think about the reliability use case. Is it easy for our end users to deploy new versions, roll things back, scale up, scale down systems automatically or manually? What are the capabilities that the SRE team needs in order to drive a reliable end user experience? And does the platform we're building not only support that, but also drive those capabilities and make it easy for them to adopt that? Second example, automation for runbooks. If you own the platform, are there things that you can build into the platform that can help automate those runbooks? So for example, can you automate rolling restarts when a certain threshold of CPU is hit? Is that the best idea? Maybe not, but just as an example of how you can build runbook automation in conjunction with SRE into the platform capabilities. Or finally, a thing that a lot of platform teams do, golden paths or paved roads. So can you work with the SRE team to go and bake those same defaults for observability into your golden path? Your golden path is not just about, hey, I want to provision some infrastructure or bootstrap a repo. It's here's a repo that is pre-configured with all the things that matter for observability. Think about the same thing for security, right? People will always take the path of least resistance. So if the security team is really trying to drive a culture of shifting security left and driving more governance around it, self-service workflows for just-in-time credentials, does your platform support that? Baking in security practices into your golden paths. Can you automate security approval for developer tags? Like if you know that the IAM policies and things that somebody's trying to build within are acceptable, can you automate certain tasks within that? And the reason why this matters so much, and the reason I say work with stakeholders like SRE and security, is because as you're building out your platform, one of the hardest things about building a platform is adoption. How do you get your developers to adopt the platform that you're building? Well, the more of the organization that is driving forward your platform and advocating for adoption of it, the more successful it's going to be. So if you're working with SRE and security, now, you have additional stakeholders who care about the outcomes of the platform. It's tied to specific business outcomes that the organization as a whole cares about. But now SRE and security are also involved in pushing your platform to the organization. They'll say, hey, if you want SRE support for your service, you should be using the golden path that the platform team has built, or you should be deployed to the modern platform that the platform engineering team is providing, because that allows us as an SRE team to better support your services. So think about the broader ways you can drive adoption with those capabilities. Finally, product fundamentals, you have to measure success. Figure out what are the bottlenecks that are preventing those outcomes. Measure the impact of your platform. Our metrics, our North Stars, are things like engineering intelligence metrics, like cycle times, DORA metrics, and things like that. Find developer productivity improvements. Find developer experience improvements. What are all the takeaways? Let's quickly summarize here. Developer platforms are increasingly complex. A well-designed, well-thought-through, product-managed mindset and a platform can improve team throughput. That is the North Star metric for us as platform organizations. And by adopting that product management mindset, we can build better platforms. And thinking about adopting a developer portal and a developer platform can be the foundation of your platform engineering capabilities. Thank you so much. I hope you took something away. And if you have any questions about how to adopt a product management mindset, please feel free to reach out. Thank you so much.